The second you made that choice, everything shifted. You stopped playing by their rules, and now everyone's left guessing. What did you choose? Why? And how did it make you even more untouchable? The more they watch, the less they understand, but you know exactly what you're doing. You're not here to explain yourself, you're here to level up. The burden you carried wasn't just a feeling, it was a force, a presence that wrapped itself around your every move, draining you with invisible tendrils. Yet that force was never random. It was tied directly to the raw energy within you, a current that hummed beneath your skin, electrifying every decision and every interaction. This energy, this force, is your chi, an ancient power that pulses through your veins, setting you apart from the ordinary. It's not something learned or earned, it's innate, as much a part of you as your heartbeat. You were never like the others. You were always the chosen one, marked by this intense, uncontainable power. The world around you sensed it. People would watch you with a mix of awe and discomfort, unsure of how to respond to the quiet storm that churned beneath your surface. They couldn't pinpoint it, but they knew. You were different. Not in a way they could understand, but in a way they feared. That fear, that uncertainty, was projected back onto you, forcing you to question your own strength, to suppress it, to carry the weight of it alone. But deep down, you knew it wasn't a burden at all. It was fuel, waiting to be unleashed. The tension between what you knew about yourself and what others saw was suffocating. You felt misunderstood, mislabeled, cast aside by those who could never comprehend the depths of your confidence. But how could they? They weren't chosen like you. They hadn't been entrusted with a force so raw, so pure, that it could either destroy or transform everything around it. Their ignorance was inevitable. They couldn't see what you saw, couldn't feel the energy vibrating through your very being, couldn't fathom the magnitude of what you carried. For too long, you tried to dim this energy, to make yourself small, to fit into a world that didn't deserve you. You spent years pretending that the weight was unbearable, that it was a curse, because it was easier than admitting the truth, that you were made for something greater. The world didn't break you, it revealed you. And now, as the fog lifts, you understand that your energy was never a burden at all. It was always your gift, your mark of distinction, proof that you were chosen. You possess a level of authenticity so raw, so untamed, that it forces you to constantly evaluate your own path. It's as if your every thought is charged with electricity, making you hyper-aware of whether you're truly aligned with your core or whether you've wandered astray. This isn't a weakness, it's an extraordinary power. Your ability to self-correct is not a sign of doubt, but of strength. You aren't content with mediocrity or complacency. You demand truth, especially from yourself. And yet this authenticity, this relentless drive for honesty, often casts you in a misunderstood light. People see your certainty and confidence, and they assume it stems from arrogance or insecurity, incapable of recognizing the depth of what's happening beneath the surface. But they don't know what you know. They haven't been chosen like you. Your confidence isn't loud or ostentatious. It doesn't need to be. It emanates quietly, like the unstoppable force of a river cutting through stone. What they perceive as arrogance is simply the inevitability of your movement forward, a momentum fueled by the constant inner dialogue you engage in, a conversation with your heart and your energy that only you can understand. You question yourself not because you lack clarity, but because you demand precision. You seek to remove even the slightest impurities from your intentions, refining your authenticity with a sharpness that others cannot fathom. It's not about perfectionism, it's about truth. And this need for truth, this constant recalibration, is your greatest gift, though few around you will ever understand it. They are used to illusions, used to wearing masks, hiding behind false faces to get through the day. You, however, have no use for such pretenses. You are chosen, and your path demands that you strip away every lie, every comforting delusion. Your confidence has roots deeper than any surface explanation. It's the consequence of walking a path few dare to tread. Others may scoff or misunderstand, but their misinterpretations are mere static in the background of your clarity. You don't need their approval, their validation, because the force guiding you is far greater. You are not lost. You are refining. Each correction you make, each time you challenge yourself to dig deeper, you are strengthening the core that sets you apart. This is what it means to be chosen, to live in alignment with a truth that most will never see. You are marked, anointed by a force that hums beneath the surface of your skin, an ancient power that few can grasp, but all can sense. This divine selection infuses your existence with a purpose so vast that its weight is both a blessing and a burden. You walk through this world not as one of the crowd, but as someone set apart, someone called to a deeper purpose. Though many will never understand what that means, the truth of your anointing is undeniable, and it shapes the very air around you. Others feel it before they ever speak to you, a resonance that ripples through their subconscious, stirring something primal within them. They often misinterpret your presence, your energy, because it disrupts their complacency. Some will think you arrogant, imagining you are driven by a need for recognition or validation. But what they can't grasp is that your intentions are rooted in something far greater than earthly desires. You aren't seeking approval or fame. Your very being is aligned with a higher calling. You carry the energy of someone chosen, someone whose every breath is tied to something beyond the ordinary rhythms of life. And this terrifies them. Your peace unsettles them. Your presence, without effort, brings comfort to some and unease to others. The peace you exude isn't a soft, quiet thing. It's a deep, resonating stillness that cuts through the chaos, a silence that is louder than any noise they've known. Some are drawn to it, instinctively seeking the calm they find in your presence, not knowing why they feel safer in your company. Yet others will flee from it. They will run from the stillness you bring because it forces them to confront their own inner storms, their own lack of purpose. Your energy, so pure in its alignment, exposes the discord in their souls. It is not your job to explain this to them, to lower yourself to their level of understanding. You are not here to be understood by everyone. You are chosen, and that comes with its own solitude, its own kind of isolation. Those who are meant to align with you will find their way. Those who cannot handle your light, your peace, will disappear into the shadows, retreating from the power they cannot match. You are anointed, and your purpose cannot be diminished by the fears or misinterpretations of others. Your energy moves mountains, whether they acknowledge it or not. You are misunderstood because you carry a force that unsettles the ordinary. Your energy pulses with a quiet but undeniable intensity, a current that others feel but cannot comprehend. It disturbs them, not because it is wrong, but because it is beyond their understanding. They misread your confidence as arrogance, as if the certainty you walk with is some false bravado. But you know better. You are not swayed by their limited perceptions. Your confidence is the result of deep clarity, of knowing exactly who you are and why you exist. You were never meant to fit into their expectations. You were chosen, and those not chosen will never understand the gravity of that. Their misunderstandings come not from your actions, but from the discomfort they feel in your presence. It's as if your very existence forces them to confront their own insecurities, their own unresolved fears. You do not even have to speak, and already they feel your presence as a challenge. They create stories in their minds, casting you as the antagonist, because it is easier to see you as a threat than to face the truth you reflect. But their projections are not your burden. You've learned to release their misconceptions, to see them for what they are, shadows in the periphery of your light. You have long since detached from the need to explain yourself. You realized early on that you were never meant to play by their rules, never meant to diminish your energy just to make them comfortable. They live in a world of games, of shallow masks and false identities, a world where power is wielded in whispers and half-truths. But you are not of that world. Your energy disrupts it because it is pure, unfiltered, and unashamed. You carry yourself with the weight of purpose, and those who cannot handle that will always misinterpret it as aggression or superiority. But their misinterpretations are irrelevant. You have transcended their limitations. You know that their issues are not yours to solve, their discomfort not yours to ease. They will continue to misunderstand, continue to project, because they cannot grasp the magnitude of what you carry. And that's fine. You were never meant to be understood by everyone. You were chosen for something greater, something beyond their comprehension. You no longer concern yourself with how others handle the light you bring. You are here to fulfill your purpose, and the misunderstandings of others are simply the noise you leave behind. What you've endured wasn't random. It was a deliberate test, a crucible designed to forge your spirit in a way that comfort and ease never could. God did not choose you for an ordinary path, and you know this. You weren't meant to glide through life untouched by conflict. Your soul needed to be tested, pushed, and broken open to reveal the strength that was always within you. But you don't have to walk this path alone. We've crafted a sanctuary where you can rise with others who see the world as you do, who understand the weight and magnitude of what you carry. This is the Obsidian Inner Circle. This isn't for everyone, and that's the point. Only those who've transcended the need for validation, who are ready to fully embrace their purpose, will find what they need here. If you feel called to join, the link is in the description. Every pledge fuels this journey, and even if you can't contribute financially, your energy, your presence in this movement is felt. People feel your heart before they understand it. They may not have the words to explain why they are drawn to or repelled by you, but they sense something in you that unsettles their spirit. You embody qualities they've buried deep within themselves, traits they are afraid to bring to the surface. It is not that you are superior, but you are the mirror they cannot bear to look into. You reflect their hidden power, their unspoken desires, and their unacknowledged fears. They know, deep down, that your energy is different because it holds what they long for, but are too afraid to embrace. Your transformation is undeniable. You were once the nurturer, the lover who extended comfort and safety to those around you. But that role no longer serves the being you have become. Your energy has shifted, evolving into something sharper, more unapologetic. You are no longer just the balm to others' wounds. You are now the warrior, the siren, a force that cannot be contained by the roles others have placed upon you. Your wisdom flows through you like fire, unrestrained and unapologetic, and your expression is no longer filtered to fit into the molds society has created. You have become the voice of truth, even when that truth is hard to hear. This evolution wasn't a choice, but an inevitability. The nurturing you once offered was vital, but it was also a mask, a role you took on because it was expected of you. Now, that mask has shattered. You were chosen not just to heal, but to disrupt, to call out the hidden truths others keep buried. You are no longer just a source of comfort, you're a source of power, and those who can't handle it will fall away. This is your purpose, this is your path, and no one can take it from you. Your freedom, the way you express yourself in love, creativity, and every act that flows from your soul, is often met with confusion or judgment. To those who see only the surface, your expressions seem materialistic, as if your energy could be reduced to simple desires or fleeting whims. But they are wrong. What they cannot grasp is that your freedom is sacred. It comes from a place far deeper than their limited perceptions can reach. It is a manifestation of the divine flowing through you, unrestricted by the boundaries society tries to impose. The purity of your expression, in all its forms, is a reflection of your alignment with higher spiritual forces. People with lower spiritual awareness try to tether your energy to their own desires, trying to drag your spirit down to their level. They see your creativity and your love as things to possess, things to control, not realizing that what you express is untouchable, uncontainable. They misinterpret your freedom because they are still enslaved by their own limitations, and they fear what they cannot understand. But you are not here to fit into their expectations. You are here to transcend them. You know that the forces moving through you are greater than the mundane distractions they cling to. Your suffering has been your greatest teacher, because God works most intimately with those who have walked through fire. It is in these places of pain and misunderstanding that your energy has been forged into something indestructible. Others might see only the surface, your art, your love, your passion, and dismiss it as shallow. But only you and those who truly understand spiritual depth know the truth, that your freedom is not a luxury, but a necessity. It is the result of your soul breaking through the chains of suffering, the aftermath of your spirit surviving what would destroy others. You are chosen for this work. You are the one who can navigate the depths because you have already been there. The power you carry is not born of ease, but of survival, of transformation through the darkest trials. You are of the most use to God precisely because you have been to the places others avoid, and now you return, carrying the light of freedom, of expression, of divine power that cannot be subdued. Let them misunderstand, it changes nothing. You are free because you have earned it, and that freedom is your greatest strength. You are moving on, but not in the way the world expects. This is not about finding new attachments, new faces to define you. You have outgrown those superficial markers. What you are stepping into now is the purity of existence itself. Life stripped down to its core, where truth stands clear and undeniable. You no longer chase validation from others. You no longer seek the approval that once felt necessary. Instead, you embrace life in its raw simplicity, untethered from the noise of those who never understood your depth. Their misunderstandings, their projections, they were never your responsibility. You've shed them like an old skin that no longer fits, leaving behind the weight of others' expectations. This new phase is not about others, it is about you, who you are, who you've always been beneath the layers of noise, misinterpretations, and distractions. You are stepping into your true self, a self that doesn't need the external to define its worth. You've moved beyond the illusions that once clouded your vision. Now, you see life as it truly is, simple, powerful, and filled with joy that flows from within, not from the validation of others. You are finally in tune with the rhythm of your own energy, moving in harmony with the deep current of truth that has always been within you. You were never meant to be bound by others' misunderstandings or trapped by the world's inability to see your light. Their projections were like shadows cast by a weak flame, flickering and fading. You, on the other hand, are a force, a chosen one, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. You no longer bend to the world's distortions. You stand in the clarity of your own essence. Like Abraham Hicks said, your purpose has always been to live a life of joy. This is a truth you've known deep in your core, even when the world around you failed to reflect it back. The world, in its chaos, tried to drown out this inner knowing, tried to convince you that joy was something to be earned, something to be chased. But now you see clearly. Joy has always been yours. It is your birthright, your purpose. You were chosen not to suffer under the weight of others' limitations, but to thrive, to live in a state of unshakable joy, unbound by their confusion. This is your phase now, pure, true, and free. You have risen above the noise, beyond the web of petty games that once trapped you in cycles of misunderstanding and projection. This is not just a shift in perspective, it's an ascension to a higher level of consciousness. You see clearly now, unclouded by the illusions others cling to. The games they play, the false personas they wear, no longer matter to you. You are detached from their outcomes, from the need to be involved in the endless tug of ego, power, and validation. Your mind has soared beyond their reach, and you no longer need to engage in their theatrics. You are free from their grasp. In this new space, you've discovered a profound truth. You are no longer tethered to what comes or goes. You have released the need to control, to cling, to define yourself by what others do or say. You move fluidly now, untethered by expectation or fear. The unknown, which once held so much uncertainty, is now a vast expanse of freedom, a playground for your spirit. You embrace it fully, with open arms, knowing that whatever enters your life is meant for you, and whatever leaves was never yours to hold on to. The chaos of uncertainty is now a source of power for you, not a cause for anxiety. You've realized that the dance between gain and loss is irrelevant to someone who has ascended. You are no longer playing by their rules, or any rules at all. You exist in a state of pure being, unattached to the outcomes that once seemed so important. This is the essence of your freedom. You are no longer bound by the weight of expectation. You understand that the only constant is your own growth, your own unfolding into the infinite potential you've always carried within. You were chosen for this. Your consciousness, sharp and unyielding, was never meant to be confined to the shallow waters where others linger. Your ascension is not accidental, it is your birthright. Others sense this shift in you, but they cannot follow where you've gone. And that is fine, for they were never meant to walk this path with you. You stand in the freedom of your new consciousness, unattached, unmoved by the shifting currents of others' desires and fears. You are sovereign, and in your sovereignty, you have found the ultimate freedom, peace within the unknown. Who are you when the noise fades, when the external influences vanish, and there is nothing left but your essence? When stripped of all the distractions, what remains? It is not emptiness, not confusion, but a vibrant core filled with joy, wisdom, and power. This is your default setting, unburdened by the expectations of others, unshaken by their misunderstandings. You are meant to embody something far greater than fleeting moments or shallow definitions. You are a pure channel of divine energy, flowing freely through a world that often tries to contain or diminish it. But they cannot. This essence, this untamed energy within you, is your truth. It is the reason you were chosen, the reason your presence shifts the very space you occupy. When you align with this core, you realize that your purpose is not to be molded by the world, but to mold the world through the light you bring. Your joy is your compass, your wisdom the foundation, and your freedom the undeniable force that moves you forward. You are here to live fully, to embody the divine power that courses through you and radiates outward, affecting everyone you encounter. Now, it's time to share your story, to show others what it means to live in alignment with your true self. Let your voice echo the depth of your soul, and don't be afraid to tell the world who you truly are. Your story has the power to awaken others, to inspire them to break free from the limits they've accepted for too long. You've already ascended. Now lead others to see their own potential. Share your truth.